Welcome. We are continuing with the second feature of organization mathematics of the Geeta text. It is transcendental content flow, Divya Drav Parvaha. We had noticed that the study zone of the text of organization of the text of Geeta is this middle placement, where is the placement of 6 space Surya, Sun, hypercube 6, its placement at the middle has been fixed. It is fixed in terms of the shlokas range of the text beginning with 47, 72 and reaching up till 78. First 9 chapters give us a value range 372. So here we are reaching at the middle at 372 shlokas range, and this range is 350 plus 22, and 22 is the summation value of 4, 5, 6 and 7, a fourfold manifestation layer, hypercube 6. So it is hypercube 6 space Sun, Surya, which is at the middle placement, means up till this there is a coverage and there is a reach of 372 value. The remaining value obviously comes to be 328, means 350 minus 22, so it is 328. It is here where we have to have a focus, as that 6 space body is enveloped within a 5 space body. 5 space is playing the role of a boundary. Now 5 space itself is enveloped by 4 space. So 5 space is enveloped by 4 space, and there are 10 components. A raised to power 5 is to 10, B raised to power 4. It is this 5 multiplied by 10, 50, means there come to be 50 coordinates for fixation of the creative boundary of 10 components of 5 space. The flow, 7 streams flow from the middle, from the origin of 6 space, will lead us to 350 coordinates value on both sides, and 6 space hypercube 6 itself remains at the middle, and it is, as per the organization, is the part of the first half of the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Simultaneously, we had seen that the Gita Parinam Shloka organization, the format of this text, it is up till half going to be 394. 394 is equal to 372 plus 22. That means the hypercube 6 itself is also a support format for this organization. Now it is here where we have to proceed further to appreciate as to why and how and of what implications is this organization of the Gita Parinam Shloka, which for the first half is yielding value 22 and for the second half is yielding value 23. Therefore, today we have to focus upon the organization format features of values 22 and 23. Value 22 as 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 is the summation value of the quadruple value of hypercube 6. So this value in fact is the value of hypercube 6. However, value 23 accepts an organization 3 plus 5 plus 3 into 5. And we know that 3 space is playing the role of dimension of a 5 space. Therefore, the solid dimension and transcendental domain are two distinct structural setups, and both are simultaneously available, and the availability is as addition and multiplication both. It is this feature that addition and multiplication both are available, and these two features we see are the features of the organization of two space having a rectangular axis frame and as well having a vertical, a diagonal format. It is this symbol which is for addition, and it is this symbol which is for multiplication. How is it that the same set of points without any displacement are simultaneously leading to, if we look on this side, these points will look like making lines. If we look like this side, these lines will be giving us the vertical lines. These points will be organizing themselves without disturbing the placement of the points. So point, when looked, these give us the horizontal lines. These also give us the vertical lines. These also give us the diagonals organization. So same set of points of a surface are making vertical lines, horizontal lines, and diagonals. Therefore, without any displacement for the points, the vertical axis frame of two space will transform into the crosswise frame. It is this shift, it is this organization, it is this feature which is simultaneously marking its presence of its own without having any displacement for the points. The points, two space points, the points of a surface remain as these are without disturbance of the placements of the points. The vertical axis of their own get transformed into a vertical axis. So these 90-degree organization and this rotation for 45-degree here and having placements is inherently acceptable by these particular points. Let us have a pause here. We'll see. Ultimately, we'll say the eternity or the God is Sagun. It has some features, and it is Nirgun. It is without features. Simultaneously, Sagun and Nirgun are the pair of features which are being chased by the Vedic systems. The geometric base for this simultaneous chase as Sagun and Nirgun is available to us because of inherent features of the organization of the surface points which without any displacement, without any disturbance for the points have attainment of the transformation from the rectangular axis frame to a diagonal axis frame. It is addition and it is multiplication. So addition operation and multiplication operations get superimposed, and this superimposition is available to us as 3 plus 5 and 3 multiplied by 5, and same again behave as if these are an organization along a rectangular base. And this then also will be making us available 3 plus 5 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 5. It will be becoming 120. Ultimate organization format is going to be of 120 units. It will become geometric format for the periodic table. The human life cycle is going to be of 120 years. Therefore, this value 23 is the value which is taking us to space, surface, and 2 space is dimension of 4 space. 4 space is dimension of 6 space. That means this organization, when goes to the format, it takes us from dimension to from domain to dimension of a dimension. Let us have a pause here. Let us go slow. Let us just at the present take that at the format, the availability of value 23 for the second half of the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The format for the second half of the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita is of value 23, while for the first half the value remains 22. It is this feature which is the inherent feature, the basic feature, the characteristic feature, the central feature of the organization of the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which will help us appreciate as to how the transcendental content, means the 5 space content, which is of a solid boundary, 3 space as a boundary of this, is manifesting within creators of space. So let us open a new page in our notebook and let us write creators of space. This creators space would mean 4 space, and its body is hypercube 4. Hypercube 4 is 2, 3, 4 and 5. Here 5 space is origin, while 2 space is the dimension. 2 space would mean that we will be having hypercube 2, which would mean a square. And we have seen that the surface points, the point constituents of a surface, are of the features which silently, inherently, without disturbing the placement for the points, attains a transition and transformation from the vertical axis frame to the diagonal axis frame. It is this inherent geometric feature available for the surface which is being fully exploited by the Vedic systems for the chase of the existence phenomenon of our solar universe, with Sun as a 6 space body having its placement at the middle of the existence phenomenon. Therefore, let us mention that the organization of the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita takes us to, for the comprehension of the middle position as of a sun. Sun is given a middle placement. This middle placement means we call it Madhya Brahm. means eternity is within. Madhe Brahm, eternity is within. And this formulation Madhe is leading us to TC value 17 and here is 28. It comes to be 45. Now 45 as a dimension will lead us to 47 as a domain, and it is going to be the range of chapter 1 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Let us have a pause here and let us now have a revisit to value 22. Value 22 when takes us to hypercube 22. If we go to hypercube 22, now what it would be? It would be 20, 21, 22 and 23. Hypercube 22 would means 22 as a domain, 23 as an origin, 21 as a boundary and 20 as the dimension. Now for it we have a pause and wait and see that these hypercubes have versions. As we have an interval with pair of endpoints, then it has three versions. When there is only endpoint, when there are pair of endpoints, and when there is no endpoint. Interval without endpoints, interval with one endpoint, interval with pair of endpoints. These become three versions. So hypercube 1 gives us 2 into 1 plus 1 is equal to 3 as three versions. These three versions of hypercube. So when we are at 2, we will have 2 into 2 plus 1 is equal to 5. It would be a blissful exercise to see that we have square with 4 end lines. Now, first stage would be when all the 4 lines are available, when 3 are available, 2 are available, 1 are available, no edge is available. This will make 5 versions. Hypercube 1 is having 2 into 1 plus 1 is 3 versions. So hypercube 0 will give us 2 into 0 plus 1 is 1 version. So 0 space has only one version. But 1 space has 3 versions. 2 space has 5 versions. And when we proceed like that, then it is hypercube 11, which is giving us 23 versions. Therefore, this organization format of the Gita Pranam Shloka, providing us value 23 for the second half, is in fact taking us to that we have to work with hypercube 11, which is giving us 23 versions. But 11 itself we see, these are the versions of 5 space, and 5 itself we see are the versions of a 2 space. Now see, 2 space gives us 5 versions, 5 space gives us 11 versions, 11 space gives us 23 versions, and 23 space will give us 47 versions. Now 2, 5, 11, 23 and 47 all are prime numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, up till 5 stages. At each stage we will be having primes. Let us make a note that except this there is no other space which will be taking us to prime values up till 5 steps. This will help us appreciate as to why Srimad Bhagavad Gita is having 47 shlokas for its chapter 1. When we have seen that value 47 as domain takes us to value 45, and the same is taking us to Madhya Brahm. Now I have written here 17 as a dimension. Now let us calculate the value of Madhya. Now M is this letter, this formulation is Ma, A, Dha, Ya and A. See, it has value 9, 1, 7, 1 and 1. See, this value is 19. 17 is the value of Atma. So at the middle is going to be a domain because of an Atma. Means the human body, the manifested body as value 19 will be having a 17 as a dimension, and 17 is the value of Atma, the soul. Therefore Atma value 17 will be leading us to 19 as a domain. So this domain, because of Atma, is having this geometric interrelationship. Now it is this feature, it is this organization, it is this existence phenomenon which is being chased by Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is chasing the existence phenomenon because of an Atma, because of a soul. How the soul is manifesting itself as our existence phenomenon within human frame. We will be coming to these features. So let us again go back to this feature, the versions of the cubes, and now let us go to the another concept. It is the concept of the origin transcendence. We know that 4 space, 3 space is having 4 space as origin. Now this 4 space, when splits out from a cube, from a 3-dimensional frame, when this origin goes out, then it leads to a pair of 3-dimensional frames of half dimensions. 3-dimensional frame is a synthetic setup of a pair of 3-dimensional frames of half dimensions. Now this concept of half dimension may appear to be as if a simple imaginary setup. No. Let us revisit cube. See, in each corner point is manifested a 3-dimensional frame of a half dimensions. Let us visit a square. See, the 2-dimensional frame, so in each corner point is a 2-dimensional frame of half dimensions. Vedic systems are approaching dimensional frames as synthetic setups of pair of dimensional frames of half dimensions. How is it that the existence phenomenon of our solar universe is synthesizing dimensional frames and splitting dimensional frames? It is this synthesis and split of the dimensional frame which is the basic comprehension, a foundational comprehension of Vedic systems. Vedic systems are approaching 3-dimensional frame as a synthetic setup of a pair of 3-dimensional frames of half dimensions. 2-dimensional frame as a synthetic setup of a pair of 2-dimensional frames of half dimensions. Therefore, this transcendence of an origin makes it a 3-entity setup, a pair of half-dimensional frames and origin. So, 3-dimensional frame as first part, as second part, and as origin. So when we have n dimensional, it will give me n plus 1. It becomes a value 3n plus 1. Now let us tabulate. When n is equal to 0, it gives us value 1. N is equal to 2, when n is equal to 1, it gives value 4. And let us continue up to 12. It gives us value 37. Why I am tabulating only up till n is equal to 12? Simply as hypercube 6 is a raised to power 6 is to 12 b raised to power 5. There are 12 boundary components. So when we will be having a transcendence for the origins for all the 12 components of the boundary of 6 space, then we see we reach at value 37. Now what is the geometric significance in reference to the organization format of Srimad Bhagavad Gita of value 37? Now see, if we are having a Devanagari alphabet and we have the TCV values for vowels 1 to 9 and consonant 1 to 5 and like that, this table of TCV values. If these values are associated to the formulation Shri Bhagavan, these letters Sha, Ra, E, Bha, A, Ga, A, Va, A, and Na. These letters, these 10 letters will take us to value 37. Why I am taking up the formulation Shri Bhagavan? If we open a textbook of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we see there are 4 participants of this divine dialogue. First is Dhritarashtra, second is Sanjay, third is Arjun, and fourth is Krishna. But the text specifically defines, specifically states, specifically preserves that Krishna is Shri Bhagavan. So text gives us Dhritarashtra Uvach, Dhritarashtra utters, participates, Sanjay Uvach, Sanjay utters, participates, Arjun Uvach, Arjun utters and participates, Shri Bhagavan Uvach, Shri Bhagavan utters and participates. Now Krishna as Shri Bhagavan is the formulation which shall be visited again and again. And we know the formulation Krishna is leading us to value 19, which is equal to Madhya, middle. And then we know if we are having 19 points, 1, 2, 3, say we are having 18 and 19 points, the gaps will be 18. And we know 19 plus 18 is equal to 37. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavad Gita as a divine dialogue is a geometric format of 19 points range together with its 18 gaps. So discrete points 19 and the gaps value is 18. So the continuity of this range of 19 points is attainable only by having simultaneous reach for the 19 discrete points and 18 gap points. Therefore, for appreciation of the organization of the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita as well as for comprehension of the enlightenment message of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we have to bear in mind that each entity being framed, becomes an entity within a frame, so it becomes of a discrete format, discrete entities, one individual, second individual, third individuals. But when we will be having the collective existence phenomenon, say of all Homo sapiens, all human beings, or all species, or of all universe, then from these discretes we have to have a format for a continuity. The format of a continuity with discretes is to take along with the discretes the gaps. It is this reach of continuity for discretes in terms of the gaps amounts to that we are having points, say pair of points, and we have a one gap. It becomes hypercube. So I am having one unit as well as the euro unit. That means the pair of entities of sequential organization formats are being taken. And the advantage of this is that, say, when we are having pi, and if we want to dispense with it, then if we have, say, a circumference and area, so pi r square and 2 pi r, when will be taken in ratio, then pi will be dispensed with. So Vedic systems in very unique way, fully successful to dispense with the pi, the curvature. And as we had seen at the initial stage, that linear organization of the points are formatted along the circumference. So line is transited and transforms into a circumference. And for all practical purposes, this line is ultimately given the role of a diameter. And diameter means Vyas. And the author of the text of Srimad Bhagavad Gita is Maharshi Ved Vyas. The word Vyas is a diameter. That means the Vedic systems are providing format for a line for its role as a diameter. So the diameter is to be given a format of hypercube. Let me have a pause. Let us sit comfortably. Let us permit the transcending mind to be through these all organization format features for the transcendental content flow, means 5-space content flow, which is playing the transcendental boundary of 6-space. And it is this transcendental flow which is fulfilling our space. So our space in which we as 3-space solid bodies can move freely is 4-space. But when it is fulfilled with the transcendental content, it manifests along the boundary of a 6-space. So 6-space, 5-space and 4-space all are simultaneously availed for formatting the chase of existence phenomenon within solar universe by Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much.